Welcome back to another Truss and Timber production. In previous videos I get a lot of questions and comments about the chainsaw mill that I use. So I thought I'd just do one overview video showing my process of milling from beginning to end. In this video we're going to use the Mark IV Alaskan mill by Granberg International. And this one is the size for up to 36-inch bar. I have a 30-inch bar in it, but you can get them bigger or smaller depending on the size of logs that you want to mill. So let's get into it. The first thing you got to do is put your bar inside the mill, and you want to make sure you get it perfectly centered because you don't want to have any force when you're clamping that bar down to restrict your chain's movement. So once you get this bar centered and in position, make sure that you can still freely move that chain. So once you get it installed in the back half, you can slide your front clamp forward, making sure that you've got enough space between the chain and the guard so that it's not going to rub. Be sure to get that bar centered so that there's no friction on the chain. Once you set your desired height, you want to tighten everything up just loosely and then check to make sure everything is square and make sure that the rails on your mill are parallel to your bar. Once everything looks good, tighten everything up and you're ready to go. I'm using the Grandberg Easy Rails here, which is much more efficient than trying to use a board or a ladder. It mounts onto the wood quite easily, and you got these adjustable lag bolts that help you level everything out. So you got a nice, smooth, level surface to make your first cut with. I like to level it out and then pound the pegs in to hold it and stabilize it, and then again check it's level because it can shift a little bit when you pound those pegs in. Make sure that everything's secure, make sure that when you push down on the rails there is no give and that your lag bolts are touching the log on all 6 points. Once that's secure, you're ready to make your first cut. Start by putting the mill onto the rails and entering the cut from the heel of the saw. The milling process is slow. You don't want to overwork your saw. You gotta really pay attention to the sound of the engine of the saw and make sure that you're giving it full throttle, but you're not bogging that engine down because you don't want to burn out your engine. So you kind of find that sweet spot where the saw is running at full speed and it sounds like the engine's running at full speed without any bog down. And then you just want to make smooth, nice, consistent cuts through your log. Once you've got your initial cut started a little ways, it's a good idea to wedge the back of your top half of the log to make sure that that weight of that top half of the log isn't pushing down on your bar and creating more friction on your bar, which is going to be more strain on your saw engine, and it's also going to affect your cut. Now some logs will actually want to do the opposite. Instead of fall down, they're going to want to curl up. So pay attention to that. You can put in a little log dogs at the end that'll actually hold the log down from curling up. So depends on how dry your log is and which way it wants to move. That top piece could either want to fall down or up, but generally because of the weight of it, it wants to settle down. And then just keep working your way through the log, making as smooth of a cut as possible. My particular cut here wasn't the smoothest, mostly because I was constantly starting and stopping to move the camera around. But the idea is to just have patience and slowly move the mill through the cut. What's really great about the portable chainsaw mill is that sometimes you're in situations where you have logs where there's just no way for you to move them, to take them to a mill or to get them milled any other way. So being able to take your mill to the site to mill the log is sometimes the only way that makes it possible. So once you've finished your first cut, it's a good idea to just brush off any remaining wood chips so that you have a nice smooth surface again to start your second cut. Now that we've got a nice smooth surface from our first cut, we no longer need those easy rails, and we can set our mill height to the exact height that we need for our slab that we're trying to achieve. So the Grandberg system does come with measurements right on the bar itself, so you can either use those to set your desired height, or sometimes I also just use wood planks or sheets of 3/4 inch plywood to set my depth. I just put them on top of the bar, drop the rails down on top of it, and then tighten them up there as a guide. An important thing to know if you're not familiar with chainsaws is that you really need to get them warmed up and get the chain well lubricated. So before you even put your chainsaw on the mill, it's a good idea to rev it at full speed and point your chain at a log or someplace on the ground, and then run that chain at full speed until you start to see a little line of sprayed oil on a log. And then you'll know that the oil is well lubricating the chain and you're going to be ready to go and your engine will be warmed up. So the rest of the process is very straightforward. You set your new desired height that you want your slabs to be, and you're just going to continue to run your chainsaw mill through the log and create as many slabs as you can get out of it. Again, the most important thing is a slow and consistent cut. Sometimes it feels faster if you move the saw back and forth, but that's only going to give you a more uneven cut and a rougher finish. So try to have the patience and then just keep slow, steady, straight cut all the way through the log. When you get to the end, it's not a bad idea to put another little wedge in just to make sure that you don't get an uneven edge off that corner and you get a nice straight cut right off the end. And that's it. I just want to thank Grandberg for sponsoring this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of it, and look forward to seeing me use the chainsaw mill in some upcoming projects. Until next time, be nice to people, be nice to our earth.